Here we go. Game number 3. FAntyx versus Matrin on Geyser. As FAntyx on the left side brings around 35th Air Assault, whilst Matrin on the right side brings around 4th Mudschützen. And it's an interesting matchup. We don't see 4th Mudschützen too often, but Matrin is a fan of it. And the ban with 39th and 5th Clean Day, also pretty classic. 39th guards we just saw winning for Matrin, so that makes sense to ban for FAntyx, and 5th Clean Day, one earlier for FAntyx, is also the division that he plays the most, so makes sense for Matrin to ban that as well. Yeah, Geyser. Pretty solid map as well. A lot of room to maneuver around the sides, as Charlie though is a bit skewed, so Matrin a bit lucky here with the side. Right side slightly favored. But FAntyx bringing around a good amount of forward deployment here. Everything here coming in front, including some SPG-9s that will try to push down the right side. One SPG-9 of Matrin, a Fallschirmjäger, one that forward deploys as well, trying to stop that. Not sure why he moves outside of the building and not just moves it into the building. That's usually where you want to bring in your ATGMs here. Building better covered than 3-line. And not having any worse line of sight either. Meanwhile, in the north, a couple of shell cars coming around. Good amount of Fallschirmjägers and Fallschirmjäger Maddies coming around here. Especially the Maddies Fallschirmjägers, really nice. Only get one card of them, but they do their job nicely. And yeah. Nicky's coming around, Spaznats, Iglas. Good amount of units. We'll move forward here. We'll try to get into the buildings in the center. The other side, only one T-55 AM2 for the beginning, so no big tanks on the other side, no T-64s as well. The strong thing that 35th has above the other airborne divisions, above the 11th parachutist and the 82nd Airborne, is that it gets a really good amount of medium tanks as well. 2 cards of T-64s, really helpful. You still get some M1 IPs in 82nd, but only one card of 6, so not quite the same numbers that you get in the 35th, which makes them more suitable for late game than the other airborne divisions. But still, it's still about the early advantage. Like you can keep the early advantage longer, or like play around pushing it slower than you can do with the other airborne, but you still should try to play around that. 4th is a bit more well-rounded. And the thing that 4th lacks though are medium and heavy tanks. Only has T-55s, but everything else you are pretty well suited. You have some BMPs, you have good artillery, you have a solid air tap, you have a good mix of AA, including some long-range AA, the thing that the airborne divisions lack. No long-range AA there, especially in 35th. And yeah, you have a good mix of different infantries as well. Fallschirmjägers and then a lot of Mudschützen. MiG-29 here coming in from the get-go. Helicopter tap, also pretty nice though. 35th has the better one obviously. But the Mi-24D are cheap and you get quite a couple of them. MiG-29 though, coming in here, will get the first one killed. AA a bit far in the rear here. Shilka's also firing on the move here. So will struggle to get the MiG-29 killed. But will get close. Oh! Leave it at 1 hit point. If they would have stopped moving and would have used their 35% accuracy instead of 25% accuracy, they most likely would have gotten the job done. Su-22 seat, also interesting choice here, as there are no radar-guided A pieces on the other side, but it's still a solid helicopter killer, as it has a 30mm gun and it has 40 ECM, so you can use it as a high ECM helicopter killer. I guess that's the way to use it. The Su-22 seat here, though it's a pretty pricey one for that. And Iglas still gets some connections here. Ooh, 2 out of 3 connecting there on the second run, getting the Su-22 down to 2 hit points. But it got the helicopter killed on the other side as well. Shilka's being close. Conqueror is moving in here. Mudschützen, BTR sitting around. Fallschirmjäger Maddies will hop into the building over here. Also guys, if you like the content that you see right now, consider following, so that you get notified next time when we go live. have content coming up. BMP over here coming up. T64B, first one coming in here. Mordschützen engaging over here against the Spetsnaz. Getting stunned here. Spetsnaz being pushed back. SPWs getting some nice hits in here. Spetsnaz gets eliminated. Good fire support there with the SPWs. Spetsnaz OP not around to get the RPG-29 on target. And Mordschützen having decent firepower as well. Spetsnaz now getting one kill there. Reloading. Will they get the second kill as well? Yeah, both SPWs go down, but the Spetsnaz and the Spetsnaz OP for 2 SPW 70s. Absolutely worthwhile. It's 40 points versus 105 points. On the other side killed. So, fair trade here for Matrin. Spetsnaz engaging on the long range as well. Not what they want. The PKMs, decent medium machine guns. But you want to engage with your AKSUs as well. And they are slightly out of range here. So, shouldn't fight on this range. Fallschirmjägers in the south though. Versus the Zajaniki and the Spetsnaz OP in the building will struggle. Should disengage there. As both sides have the rear zone captured. Nothing else captured just yet. And a MiG-21 comes in for the building over here. Iglas will try to get on target. Not getting any good hits in though. And the Mordschützen keep on pushing. Spetsnaz disengaged for a second. Should re-engage now. Using their RPOs and AKSUs. Still not quite in range for that. Still once more taking the wrong engagement there. Deshaniki's coming up. More Spetsnaz. T64B. The SPGs in the south didn't do much. Got all killed off. Another SPG comes in to take the place here for Matrin. TV coming in for FAntyx, but Matrin bringing in one as well, so the advantage will not take for long. Dejaniki is here, unloading last second. Good move there from FAntyx, not getting killed in transport. T64 moving up. Will outclass the T55 a lot. T55 might not be even alive when it arrives at the front line though, as the Spetsnaz OP with its amazing RPG-29 gets the connection there. So the T64B the only tank on the battlefield right now. Couple of reinforcing T55 coming in here. Whilst the Dejaniki Medis tries to stop the Fallschirmjägers. Mordschützen and Mordschützen BTR getting pushed back here. Shilkas trying to move around. Maybe finding a spot where they can use their guns as ground support without getting hit by the Spetsnaz OP. As they can deal quite a lot of damage to infantry as well. One of the good things about these self-propelled guns, they can be solid infantry support as well. Their advantage over the missile AA for sure. 55 AM2s, more of them rolling in here. But a good amount of Spetsnaz still holding the line. And FAntyx still with a slight point advantage. The Mi-24V coming up. Another CV coming in for the center. No CV on the side of Matrin just yet. As we have Mordschützen BTRs rolling in. Janiki BMD. Versus Fallschirmjägers. Mi-24V will help out. Kill off the Fallschirmjägers for sure. Rockets there. Dealing a lot of damage. Fallschirmjägers will be dealt with. No AA directly up here in the north. Shilkas both in the center right now. Dejaniki coming in here. Shilka though will get on target there. And the anti-tank rocket of the Dejaniki not having the range to deal with this. Shilka helping out big time. Pioneer Flamethrower will do the rest. Dejaniki will go down here. Schützen holding the line here against the Dejaniki in general. Spetsnaz just not at the right ranges. These Spetsnaz should not engage on these ranges. Also supply vehicle should come in helping them out. Next T64 BV this time around. So tank advantage still on FAntyx's side. But the Spetsnaz just not getting the engagements they want. And on the long ranges, the Mordschützen with their 2 medium MGs as well will outgun the Spetsnaz. Together with the AK-47, 74s they have. Dejaniki also only having 1 LMG. So they get outgunned by the Mordschützen as well. And the Spetsnaz really need resupply and then need to worry about getting into a spot where they actually can use their AKSUs and their RPOs more effectively than here. Losing the Spetsnaz like this is a complete waste. Bombs of the MiG-21 though, missing the T-64. MiG-21 gets shut down there. Iglas doing their job. Together with the Afghansky. Afghansky, similar to the Shilka and the Pusa, but having no radar, limiting its AA range by quite a lot, but also making it immune to seed. First of the Spetsnaz falling, artillery coming in for the other one as well. So yeah, second Spetsnaz will fall here as well. And those are expensive losses for FAntyx. Both in availability, you don't get too many Spetsnaz, but also in cost. 70 points per infantry units, one of the most expensive infantry units in the game, the Spetsnaz. So losing it like this is a pretty rough one. Conquerors here, trying to help out against the T-55s. 64 BV got heavily hit by the Medis and the T-55 has to disengage. It's down to 3 hit points. Supply helicopter did come in. Where did it go though? Did it got shut down? Seems like the supply helicopter... Oh, it retreated to the rear. What the hell is that supply helicopter doing? Why is it trying to follow the MiG-21? I'm not even sure how FAntyx was able to do this. But the Mi-8 is trying to follow the MiG-21 here. Which is leading to a weird situation. I've never seen this before. This is a first. This is quite hilarious. Yeah, because obviously MiG-29 is on a height that the Mi-8 can't get to. Leading the Spetsnaz without supplies on the front line, leading to C-64BV without supplies on the front line. And that is rough, because no infantry is around here right now. So Matrin can push in here now with the Modschützen. Spetsnaz really should have stayed here, waited for the Modschützen to push in, kill them off in the CQC fight, keeping them out in the open. Big mistake by FAntyx. And now the Mi-8 finally moves forward, but coming in a bit late, coming into a risky position now as well. T-64B in the north, quite exposed as well on the open field. Should maybe fall back through the tree lines. T-64BV over here also quite out in the open. As the Mi-8 MT comes in for the resupply. Will land there. Ooh, Su-22 coming in, will get the kill, but will get killed off by the MiG-29 afterwards. So, kill on the helicopter, not really worthwhile there for Matrin. Su-22 for 240 points, quite a big loss. T-80BV at least will get repaired here now by the Mi-8. Spetsnaz coming in here as resupply. SPG under fire. 64 should be able to find the kill there eventually. That's a couple more BMD-2s coming in. Another advantage that this division has over its other airborne brethrens, having a IFV. It's not a great IFV. Only 2 frontal armor, no ATGMs on it, but it's an IFV, nonetheless. It is a 30mm cannon that can deal damage to infantry, and if the infantry is out of range or doesn't have the units, it can't deal damage back. Ooh, Mi-8, yeah, as I said, was a bit exposed here. Gets killed off now, Conquers in a really good spot, only having 1 missile left, but that missile might be enough here to kill off the Afghansky. Ooh, no, gets the miss. Afghansky will survive to see another day. T-64BV. But move forward here. T-64B in the north went down. Yeah, was a bit too exposed. Artillery coming around now as well. In the artillery department, 35th, not having any good self-propelled guns. The Nonna is okay, since it's rate of fire buff, but it's not amazing. So you can't quite compete with the D-30s and the Akatsias and co that you can get in the 4th. But it's Akatsia, they are pretty strong. Janiki Medis running around. T-64BV trying to deal with the Motostrelkis. Pioneer flamethrowers moving forward. And FAntyx has the forces to push this out, but has to be methodical about it. Also no helicopters around or so. Helicopter could be quite nice right now. Another supply helicopter coming in. I'm not sure why these UWATs were not around earlier. They are super cheap, 10 points. And one supply UWATs for the Spetsnaz over here would have kept them alive for so much longer. Like, that's the combination you want to use in this division. UWATs plus Spetsnaz. Really, really great. The UWATs, not great for resupplying vehicles. It runs out of supply really quickly. But infantry units don't need a lot of supply. And they also can get repaired quite cheaply by the UWATs. So having them around, they're basically the Spetsnaz party bus. Party supply in the UWATs here. So having them around your Spetsnaz forces, especially as Spetsnaz are so expensive, so repairing them is really cost efficient. Yeah, here's what you want to do. ATGMs of Matrin now strangling FAntyx here quite heavily. Still no helicopters, no airplanes, Nonnas now coming around. Like a helicopter down here would be so great. There's a little AA here on the side of Matrin, so a helicopter could be really, really good, but Matrin now pushing forward, getting a lot of nice ATGM hits all around. There's on UWATs. The supply UWATs in the north also getting shredded. Both supply UWATs over here killed already. T-55s and BMPs moving in to help out with the remaining T-64s here. There's a Nikki BMDs trying to move forward, but the issue is your Dejanikis, especially the BMD version with only 6 hit points, but also the others with only 7 hit points. They are not great aggressive infantry. Like, that's another reason why you need the Spetsnaz. The Spetsnaz is your only infantry with a normal strength, or even a bit higher than normal strength, with 12 hit points. All your other infantry units are under strength, so pushing with them is quite rough because they die so quickly. And that means that FAntyx really needs to push in with a lot of infantry units and always needs to be careful, because it's a really tough job to cycle them back and repair them. Muchets on the other side with 8 hit points at least, a bit better, but especially, yeah, pretty solid on the defense with their double LMGs, BMPs moving forward here. Dejaniki Medis at least getting a connection to a T-55 here. One of the Shilkas went down as well, but Matrin now getting the +2 over here. Spetsnaz under fire, T-64 under pressure as well. Mi-8 MT trying to come around. Machutsen getting some nice shots, but this position is a troublesome one now for FAntyx here. Lost a lot of units here. +2 now for Matrin. More T-64 BVs trying to come in. A long way from home though. Nonnas trying to engage in the south. Motorisierter Aufklärer being pushed back. T-64 BV engaging the Motschützen. Afghansky under fire. Dejaniki Medis will take heavy damage as well. Afghansky taking 1 damage. T-55A versus T-64 BV and B will go down. Yeah, the T-64 is outclassing the T-55s, especially the normal versions, by a hell of a lot. Getting a couple of nice kills here. Only saving Craze on the battlefield right now for FAntyx, but a lot of Conquerors and SPGs around. And Mi-24V, AT as well. Afghansky should move forward against that, but the Medis, the Conquerors, the SPGs, all can deal okay damage against the T-64s. Frontal armor of the T-64 means that they won't get one-shotted by those. They will need a couple of hits, but you have to be careful. MiG-29 coming around will get the kill onto a cheap helicopter, but will get killed off. Not efficient for FAntyx. Can't keep that up in the long run. Artillery now coming in to try to find the CV as well. T-64 is really the one thing that FAntyx currently has as an advantage. Everything else is currently heavily in favor of Matrin. S-22 AT trying to come around. Not finding the kill though. As a MiG-21 comes in behind it, gets the S-22. So, one Afghansky kill is fine. MiG-29 goes down though. Ooh, another loss of a plane. Another loss of a fighter. T-64 is really fighting for dear life, but the red menace here is just so much bigger. FAntyx squandered a lot of his infantry units here. Has no support for his T-64s whatsoever on the battlefield right now. Couple of infantry units coming around from the rear again. It gets rid of a good amount of units down here in the south. Gets rid of a lot of the tanks in the center. Matrin bringing them in the wrong time. Conqueror is still flying though, and they deal good damage if they connect to any of these T-64s. Another T-64 BV up in the north, but as you can see, yeah, 2 Conquerors hits, bring it down to 4 hit points. Needs to disengage there, should smoke off. Okay, gets out of range. Artillery trying to come in for the Conquerors over here. 64 BV needs repairs. Needs a Mi-8 helicopter there. Nonna's trying to come in. Not a great target though. Nonna have range stacking. They are more like a mortar in their behavior, so they are really inaccurate on long range. You need to get them closer to fire accurately. Trying to get onto the Conquerors in the north. Get a hit there. Okay, actually get the kill. But you usually want to get a bit closer. And yeah, the amount of ATGMs is quite scary. Good play here from Matrin, locking down the battlefield, as tanks really is the only thing that he has to worry about. More tanks coming up here. We now have a replacement for the T-64B that died. So, yeah, FAntyx still having a good amount of that. Bringing a couple of Afghanskis and bringing another T-64BV in the north. Uvat's trying to come in here for the repairs. Another Afghansky coming in the south. Still +2 for Matrin. Matrin close to catching up to FAntyx here in points. And no helicopters on the battlefield. I'm so surprised by FAntyx not using any of the helicopters, as you get a hell of a lot of good ones, especially in 35th Air Assault. And they could be, like, a helicopter could run over the whole south right now. And then you could maybe do a flanking. Also, too focused, like, blue side has a disadvantage in the center. Blue side has a slight advantage on both flanks. It doesn't quite counter out the disadvantage you have in the center, but you have to play more to your advantages on this map, I feel like, and FAntyx didn't do that. Only focused on the center. Did some misplays here as well, like the engagements over here were pretty terrible, we talked about earlier. So, yeah, now the T-64BVs, yes, they can trade somewhat nicely, but the enemy tree line advantage here is big. So, not sure how much that actually can do. Conquerors here, getting repaired. As the Nonnas tried to find a kill there. Conquerors in the south, getting a nice hit against the T-64BV. Bring it down to 3 hit points, needs to disengage. There's a Mi-24D AT with a ATGM sitting around in the rear as well. SPG UATS is trying to come around, but good amount of AT weaponry here around for Matrin. We'll get rid of them. Okay, and Mi-24V AT coming around now. That's an important unit. Can be so helpful against these Conquerors. Nonnas can be really helpful against them as well. Spaznuts gets found by the Mi-24D though. Missiles, rockets flying, Spaznuts will get eliminated. Pretty painful. Igla and Afghansky not around to deal with that. And the Mi-24D finds another kill. Yeah, infantry fights this game really not going FAntyx's way. In general, infantry fights in the matches so far, not his strong suit. It's more his armored play that carried him in game number 1. And got him pretty close in game number 2 once more, but not getting him to a victory there. And this time the infantry fights really might cost him this game. Matrin on a good position in this game. Gets a nice kill in there. And yeah, Gus having to disengage. Another Mi-24D coming around. AA version. Though the AA part of it is pretty lackluster. Like, kind of laughable, to be honest. 3 damage AA missile with super low accuracy and low range. So it's really not capable of killing anything in the air usually, but it still comes with a solid gun and with 40 good rockets. And it's dirt cheap for an armored fast helicopter. So Mi-24D AA still a worthwhile unit to bring around. More so for anti-ground though than for AA. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you get a hit with it. But even then it doesn't deal much damage. And if you get 2 consecutive hits with it, it might kill a small helicopter. Like, it doesn't even one-shot the smallest of helicopters. So, really, a bit of a rough one. T-64BV coming in against the Medis. The lowest damage, in general, the worst AA missile in the game. Like, low range and really, really low damage. Worse than any of the manpads. As it also has really, really terrible accuracy. Slightly better accuracy than some of the manpads, but not to a degree that it really matters. Mi-24D though gets another infantry killed. Infantry really suffering here for FAntyx. Trying to come in time and again. Igla now trying to find the Mi-24D. But single Igla won't be able to do the job. Conquerors will find the Afghansky here most likely. As more infantry is trying to come in for FAntyx. Conquerors loses line of sight there. T64's going back, trying to get repaired. Center under pressure here for Matrin. The T64 is really doing a good job, but everything else is just not doing it either. Yeah, another Conqueror's kill onto an infantry unit. Really, the infantry play of FAntyx, super lackluster. Tejoniki BMD under fire. BMD2 gets found by another ATGM. And Matrin has dug in the north now, heavily as well. Finds a couple of nice kills there with the Rapira. Tejoniki Medis tries to find the Rapira. Will be able to do so. At least takes revenge. T64B in the center though, goes down. ATGMs from both sides. Medis and Conquerors really, really dangerous. And Matrin bringing up another CV for the center. Not the biggest amount of units here. Maybe Nona's firing on top of it could be pretty helpful. Nona's trying to find the puck here in the south first though. Might be able to get that. To be a bit better on target. It seems like they will not get the kill there as the puck is trying to get out. And it seems like it's going to be able to. 64 BV. Firing onto the Rapira in the north. Will find the connection, will get the kill. T64 still doing a good job. Igla trying to connect onto some of the helicopters. T24V AT moving in the south, but Matrin has reacted to that, has brought up two Strellas. Modschützen over here will go down, but Matrin up in points by now. 60 minutes remaining. And the Strellas get some nice connections in. On the move here. Finds the kill. 3 consecutive hits, that's quite lucky, with 40% accuracy. Bit higher thanks to veterancy there. But Strela under fire now by the T64s will go down. Afghansky coming up. T64 BVs still trying to hold the line. 2 ATGMs flying their way though. T64 BV gets found, gets a side shot in. Down to 2 hit points. Has to get the hell out there. 1 hit point. Another BV coming around. Smoke comes in a second too late. Puck finds the kill. That'll be coming around here as well. It's only 2 T64 BVs standing. One of them down to 2 hit points. Tejoniki Medis trying to find the CV. Most likely will do so. So CV down in the middle. Matrin being pushed out here for now. But a little heavy casualties once more for FAntyx here. Tries to come around with some ZSUs in the south. Tries to bring in more infantry. Doesn't really have much room for maneuver here in the south though. T64 BV dodges ATGM last second there. Conquerors trying to find it. As the T64 over here has to be careful. Will engage onto the MTLB over here. Dejan Regevetka moving up. Iglas trying to find the kill onto the Mi-24D. Getting a nice connection. Igla in the center though is down. Rapira still trying to find some kills. MTLB goes down. Tejoniki Medis trying to find the Rapira. Will be able to do so. As the T64 BV now moving forward. Only the Conqueror standing. Now under fire as well. T64 BV might win that 1v1. The Conquerors is taking 1 damage here. Another connection of the T64 BV would be the end of it. Nona's trying to figure it out as well. Conquerors needs 4 hits against the T64 BV, so on this range the T64 BV should win the duel. Nona's helping out, getting the kill. T55 AM2s though, coming around, finding the Tejoniki Medis. And FAntyx still needs to push through here. Still needs to overwhelm the south, and maybe squandered a couple too many units there to do so. Has an Afghansky, has a T64 BV that got repaired. That could push out the units over here maybe. Nonas could help out as well. North though, still in danger, and it seems like Matrin now pulls the trigger up here. Yeah, a lot of trades up here, and most of them in favor of Matrin over the last couple of minutes. We didn't have a focus on it for a while because it was low intensity combat, but that changes now. As T55s move forward. 2 T64 BVs on the other side. 1 Spetsnaz OP that could be helpful. Tejoniki Medis, not half bad either. But it's 4 T55s and a couple of BMPs. Good amount of infantry. Ooh, gets a nice kill onto one of the BMPs with units still inside. T55s have to be careful. ATGMs flying for them, and they take heavy damage for them. as the Cobra 19 penetration is quite good. So T-64 is doing a good job here. Nicky Medis helped out from the side. T-55's down to 2 now. So T-64's hold the line for now. Good job there for FAntyx. Still a +2 for Matrin though. SU-25 AT trying to come around. And FAntyx really should push in the south. If you can come in here, you can put a lot of pressure on the enemy rear. MiG-21, SU-25 coming in. You can also then try to roll that up to the north. MiG-29 coming around, getting connection to one of the MiGs. But a lot of AA coming down on it. Oops, getting the connection again. SU-25 trying to come around. Trying to find some kills. Not really doing so though. And gets killed off by the Shilka SPG. T-64 BVs also going for a counter push in the north. Not a great idea. The B has fallen, the BV heavily damaged. And that reduces the defensive position of FAntyx here a lot. Should have waited for the infantry to screen for it. The Medis and the BMPs doing okay amount of damage there to the T-64s that got too close. Yeah, FAntyx just not finding the right positioning. Now brings in T-64Bs in the south. T-55 firing the ATGMs onto it though. Really scary if they hit side armor. AA not up with the T-64s in general. It feels a bit uncoordinated what FAntyx is doing here all game. Infantry coming in on their own. Tanks now coming in on their own. AA always a bit too far back. SU-22 gets a connection here. Not getting much AA fire against it either. MiG-29's always a bit over-eager. All going down. And Matrin still keeps up the +2. T-64 is now trying to come in with the flank. But it's going to be a tough one. 700 points advantage. And FAntyx does surrender at this stage. Matrin going up to the 2-1 here. GGVP. Well played by our player in red. And FAntyx has an issue. Matrin now up 2 match point in the semifinal. Let's see if FAntyx can bring it around in game number 4. Make it a draw, bring it to the decider, or if Matrin can finish it out now. Really interesting games, but yeah, FAntyx, this game, a bit sloppy with his infantry. So here we go. Game number 4. Matrin on match point. Once more, with a division from the East German arsenal. 7th Panzer this time though, as FAntyx is bringing around the 39th this time. And Matrin is on match point. We are on death row. So let's see how this goes. As 7th with the T-72s has some nice cost-efficient vehicles. But 39th with SU-25s and co at the moment really, really strong. Like, maybe the best all-rounder division in the game at the moment. If you want to play ranked, I highly recommend the 39th. The BMP3s, really cost efficient. Like, the division doesn't have a cost efficiency issue, the division doesn't have an AA issue, the division doesn't have an issue of dealing with heavy tanks. It has solid tanks on itself. Not quite highest on levels on any of these things, but pretty nicely. And it has the best air tab in the game, most likely at the moment. SU-25s are just so strong. SU-27, really nice as well. So, yeah, let's go. Spezialaufklärers. Yeah, this is the semifinals. We will cast the finals afterwards. Conquerors coming in, so yeah. Conquerors coming in for the building over here. Redka coming up. We're currently trying to figure out who will meet Vulcan HD Gaming in the finals. BTR 60 PU coming around in the north. Couple of T-72s moving up. Spezialaufklärers sitting in the bushes here. As we have a couple of Shilkas moving up as well. Mi-24D. AT coming up. Spezialaufklärer versus Redka Saperis. I like the Spezialaufklärers of the 7th quite a lot. AKSUs giving them good amount of firepower in CQC situations. They have an RPG that is helpful in a lot of situations. Decent amount of hit points as well. Good forward deployment infantry. But Redka Saperis, pretty nice as well. TNT forward deployment can help out against infantry fights in that forward deployment scenario as well. Spezialaufklärers and Mochits a bit outnumbered. UATSs and BTRs helping out with their MGs, so they have to be a bit careful, but only taking damage slowly there. Conqueror's now trying to help out as well. FAntyx getting to +1 as his TV went straight for the middle. Matrin's ones went for the north, but Matrin on a big push here. 2 Spezialaufklärer, escorting some Modschützen and some T-72s. Modschützen though maybe a bit too far forward with their deployment here. Both of them might die in their BMPs. Okay, BMP takes damage, Modschützen will survive. Second BMP goes down. The Modschützen inside will survive as well, but both BMPs down, Modschützen heavily damaged. Will still keep the push going. BMP2s have to disengage to not get hit by the RPG-7VL. T-72s also dealing good amount of damage, but a bit unnecessary there with the squander on these units. Conquerors holding the lines against the BMPs, trying to get some nice connections in the south. Aufklärer is holding the line, but not really doing much more. Should be pretty low intensity combat down here, as the push is going on in the north. Modschützen most likely getting overwhelmed soon here. RPG getting one of the BMPs though. Motostrelki, last remaining unit here. Nice hit from the Conquerors onto the T-72. Getting him down to 5 hit points. T-72s in general, pretty solid tanks though. 8 rate of fire, pretty decent. 18 penetration, really good for a 100 point tank. 12 frontal armor, nice as well. Accuracy a bit low. And range 2100 meters, not quite the maximum range, but in general, T-72s and then their higher level brethrens, the T-72M and M1. Pretty nice vehicles. 35 points for extra range and extra frontal armor. 1 extra frontal armor and the extra range, and with that the extra penetration. Quite helpful on the T-72M. Yeah, all really solid, relatively cost-efficient tanks. Not quite as cost-efficient as they were a couple of patches ago, when the T-72s and the T-55s got a heavy buff and didn't got any more expensive with it. They were a bit OP. Now they are in a nice state, most likely. As T-72 tries to move forward here. Modschützen trying to hold the line. Push in the north. Starts to work out for Matrin. FAntyx has to find a solution. T-80BV does seem to be dead. As a CV comes in here as well. That CV is quite risky, but will allow FAntyx to go up to a +3. As BMPs keep on bullying the infantry of Matrin in the center. T-72 not around to engage them. And the Mi-24 D-AT in the north, out of ammunition, has to go back, has to reload. Supply vehicle not coming in for it yet though. MTLB maybe should move north instead of sitting around here. T-72 moving up, gets a hit onto the T-80BV. Yeah, it's way cheaper than T-80BV, but it can deal damage. Though the T-80BV with its 18 penetration against its 12 frontal armor will deal a lot more damage back, so T-72 needs to be careful. But side shots against the T-80BV can deal a hell of a lot of damage, so T-80BV on its own can't do much there either. Needs to be really, really careful. Conquerors here on a nice spot. Stopping reinforcements to going directly, the direct path in here. Out of ammo though now. T-72s maybe should help out against the BMPs. The BMPs in the center really, really helpful for FAntyx. SPW trying to hold the line. Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry for that. Spezialaufklärer coming around. T-72 moving around. Chilka coming in. T-72 moving up. BMPs moving forward. Spezialaufklärer sitting around. Aufklärers sitting around here as well. T-72 against Motostrelkis. MTLB ammunition will resupply the Conquerors. Makes it more scary for the BMP2s as well. And the T-72 holding the line nicely, dealing a lot of damage against the other infantry. FAntyx overstepping a bit there. Has to be really careful in the north, but gets a good amount of reinforcements in here. And FAntyx should be somewhat secure here now. BMP3, T-80BV, couple of good infantry in here. Is there CV on the way for the north? No. So we are back to a tie when it comes to points. Akatsia coming up. More T-55s coming in. And Matrin should be the one that should keep up the pressure. As the slightly more cost-efficient deck, bit cheaper in its stuff, all its stuff, but also slightly lower quality. So if he goes down into the late game with quality versus with same amount of units, the quality of FAntyx should carry FAntyx here. Slightly better helicopters, slightly better tanks, slightly better IFVs. Infantry-wise, the Modschützen, I guess, outclass their opposition slightly, but that doesn't matter too much. That one extra LMGs, especially as LMGs at the moment, are not that great anyways. Are not that much of a difference between Modschützen and Motostrelki. The difference between only BMP1s versus, on the other side, BMP2s is the bigger difference there for sure. Conquerors here under fire. Me-24P coming in with some ATGMs. BMP2 under fire by it. Will be able to dodge it though. Break line of sight there last second. Has to be careful of the Me-24V AA. T-72s moving around the flank. TADBV did disengage though. Won't be found by them. And FAntyx playing a slow game. Slow and methodical. That's usually how he wants to play. That's where he's best at. As I said, sometimes a bit slow on the counter push. Like in game number 2. Has to be a bit careful, but usually his vehicle micro super good. Seems to be slightly better than Matrin's, usually. His infantry micro, not so much. Yeah, at least not in the last game. Brings a good amount of infantry into the north now, though. And yeah, if he plays it somewhat slowly, has a point advantage. That's where he usually wants to play from. As, yeah, he's a bit slow on the counter pushes. But Conquerors here under fire with a point advantage, with that ease of mind of not having to push. FAntyx usually plays the best. Can focus on microing, can focus on getting value out of vehicle combat. KDBV here now moving forward. T-55 will get found, will get heavily damaged. T-72's not finding the counter. T-55 goes down. KDBV keeps on moving forward. GM of the Conquerors finds the T-72. T-72 goes down. And FAntyx getting a nice couple of kills here. The push of Matrin a bit uncoordinated, a bit too low in numbers to actually achieve anything. Gets completely overwhelmed. And Matrin now in a pretty weak spot in the center. Conquerors here, moving over the open. Will be found by the TADBV most likely as well. Modschützen under fire. Get a couple of nice RPG hits onto the TADBV, but not doing any massive damage. And that was a big mistake by Matrin. That push here just cost him all his fluff units. Like, there's no buffer between his CVs and his AA now and the enemy main line. So if FAntyx does the counter push now, the big question is if, as I said, FAntyx always a bit slow on that usually. Hopefully he does the counter push here now soon, as there is an absolutely massive opportunity for murdering Matrin's center here now. Like, there's... if this all would move forward right now, Matrin's units most likely wouldn't stand a chance. In the north, defensive line of FAntyx is holding. His infantry push to try to find the enemy in the forest didn't quite work out. But Leni Podoricki, though, trying to find some kills here. T-67, T-72 moving into the zone. Getting the contest there. +2 for Matrin. But the center is in turmoil. Helicopter going down. B-24D trying to find the T-ADBV. Gets the kill there, actually. Okay. But also found one Me-24P already. Me-24D, easy target for it. Doesn't have any ECM. Coop coming around as well. So the Me-24 has to disengage. Still enough here to push forward. T-72 now coming in though. And yeah, Matrin has the time to get the units up. Might even get the point advantage here if this tick in the north stays on. Artillery trying to find the T-72. Not quite connecting too much though. Oh, that was a nice hit. BMP3 trying to come around. T-72 gets found in the forest. KCV moves out. Matrin won't have a tick anymore in a second. T-72 here moving a bit too far forward maybe. BMP3 and Conquerors will get a good amount of hits in. T-72 not finding the kill onto the OSA. Strelas trying to move forward. Getting a helicopter kill. Have to disengage again though. 4 AA pieces with only 2 recon and 118, no infantry whatsoever. It's a really weird unit composition that Matrin has around here right now due to his losses. Loses the helicopter here as well. Osa gets the kill. And FAntyx just needs to push here. But yeah, he is a bit slow on that again. And that's most like, in my eyes, the biggest weakness of FAntyx's play. Like, when it comes down to mechanics, he's good. When it comes down to getting advantages, he is good as well. But he's a bit of a honeyball. Not being able to use that advantage to finish the job. Able to surround Rome, but not able to do the final blow to it. Oddly, put a reach key over here. Will fall to the Spezialaufklärer. As we have a couple of Modschützen coming in. 5A moving in the north. Spezialaufklärer still in some dangerous spots. Modschützen will find the Oddly for the reach key. He's 72 moving back. And yeah, it's a bit of a stalemate here. Yeah, trying to fire back. Matrin still down in points. So FAntyx still has that advantage. Might just be able to win off the 300 points at the start. Matrin really squandering that one attack in the center. Put him down a couple of minutes of income. Like, having to get those points back is a tough struggle. But might be able to find some more success in the north if FAntyx gives him the time. FAntyx with the slight counter push here though. Will hold the line now. T-72 under fire. Artillery coming around for the Conquerors. Not quite finding it. Meanwhile in the south, Modschützen under fire. The ADBV helping out there. T-62 helping out there. Yeah, Matrin's infantry here will go down. T-72 on its own. Trying to move forward. Matrin maybe having the opposite issue of FAntyx in this game. Pushing a bit too early with a bit too little. Being a bit overeager. MP3s with T-55 here. 55 will get it hit in. Will reduce the MP3 to 1 hit point. But won't be able to find the kill. Infantry support is needed. Spezialaufklärer and Modschützen moving around. Ooh, Modschützen could find some nice kills here. If they would move on with their RPG 7VL. Oh, might find some nice kills onto these Spetsnaz RPOs in transport as well. Spezialaufklärers moving in. Ah no, FAntyx good on the unload there. Artillery on both sides. Squad Sticker versus Akazias. Both sides not finding great success with the artillery just yet. But being annoying, that's for sure. Matrin's frontline still holding. T-ADBV not quite getting hit there. Conquerors not finding the connection. Motostralki getting unstunned. SBW getting found by the Motostralki BMP. Not getting killed off though. T-72s now engaging. Engaging against the Motostralki in the south. Strela moving forward. Matrin really needs to wait a bit more though. Oh, Modschützen moving around, not finding the connections. Mi-24V does react. Comes around. Will most likely kill them off in a second. Modschützen won't find the kill with their small arms. BMP3 engages now. Modschützen under heavy fire. But Stika trying to find some kills around here. T-72 helping out. Another T-ADBV coming in. FAntyx really just being super reactive in his play right now. Setting up a lot more units. Conquerors reloading. Trying to find some connections against some T-62s here most likely. Oh, getting a nice hit in. But FAntyx does react. Does disengage. MiG-21 bomber coming in. More T-72 M1s. 15 frontal armor. These are pretty solid medium tanks. At 60 points. Costing the price of a medium tank now as well though. Yeah. Okay-ish accuracy. Good damage. Solid frontal armor. good range. Rate of fire in the mid-level as well. With 8 rounds per minute. Doesn't get any better, but also doesn't get worse thanks to autoloaders. As artillery is landing around in the north now. Trying to find the CV. CV moved a bit further forward though. Won't be killed off there. And the T-72 gets found by the Conquerors and the T-80BV. T-80BV down to 1 hit point. Ooh, pressure there is on. The Pioneer Flamethrowers also clean out the north. The T-72 could maybe move in here potentially. Once more. And get a couple of points here. T-80BV surviving. Big issue for Matrin though, as that is really scary for the T-72 and only one of them is around now. Conquerors ATGM out of missiles, otherwise it might have been able to finish the job there. Shilkas and Aufklärers coming in the north. But on the other side, FAntyx brings in a couple more units into the south, brings in a couple more units into the north, but really doesn't do any aggressive maneuvers whatsoever. Just sitting around here. Can kind of do so, but I still wish he would have just finished it off in the center. Like, it's funny, because FAntyx is also someone who complains about his games always going so long. When he is the guy who is making them going so long. Like, he's just never pushing his advantages hard enough. Especially not in WARNO. In Steel Division it's a bit of his issue as well, but in WARNO it's an even bigger issue of his. Otherwise he would be an absolutely top level player in my eyes. But that part is really holding him back. He needs to get that better for Division 1 next season. Otherwise he will struggle there quite hard. EDBV moving forward. Pioneer Flamethrower versus Superior RPOs sitting around here. The Superior RPOs should be able to win as they outnumber the Pioneer Flamethrower. Flamethrower also slightly out of range. Seems not quite getting their Flamethrower on target. Getting stunned down now. Will get killed off. Flamethrower units goes down. Conquerors ATGM trying to connect with the T-80BV. Will be able to find a hit. Only doing 2 damage though. Conquerors now under fire by a lot of tanks. 62 helping out there. Conquerors most likely will go down before it can finish the job. Ooh, gets another nice connection there. But will get killed off right after. And the T-62 and T-80BV still pretty scary around here. More T-72s moving around in the north. Shilka coming up for some AA. CV still not able to move in here though. And Matrin needs to find a better way there. Conquerors ATGM finds the BMP2 in the south. EDBV engaging the Motorstrelke in the south as well. Modschützen in the south as well. Modschützen BTR versus UWATS and Motorstrelke BMP here. Finding a nice connection with their RPG-7VL. T-72s set up in the south now as well. Can Matrin maybe do a nice flank here? I would maybe even recommend him trying to push deep and trying to find the Akatsias. Southern defensive line of FAntyx relatively light here. T-72s getting into the range of the enemy ATGMs here though. Conquerors trying to get into a spot where it can help out. Strella's moving forward. Will try to find the Mi-8. Get the first nice hit. Can it get another one? Yes, they can. Strela might go down afterwards. No, does not get hit by the T-62's ATGMs. Should get the hell out of there now, though. As the Conquerors is trying to retaliate onto the T-62s. T-55s and T-72s in the south. Now moving forward, Mi-24D trying to help out as well. BMP-3 under fire. Gets killed off. Conquerors trying to get more hits in. T-80BV is critted. Can't move at the moment. River track broken. T-62. Ooh. Has to be really careful around the Conquerors. This flank might be pretty helpful. Su-25 rocket coming around. Only a Strela around on the other side right now. That's a bit troublesome. Mi-24D took some damage there. Strela getting a hit in though. Together with a MiG-23 ML doing the job. Su-27 most likely coming in on the other side though. That should be able to deal with the MiG-23, especially as the MiG-23 flies directly over the AA, taking the wrong turn there. T-72s now coming around in the center. Trying to help out against the T-80BVs. Not quite the right range to engage though. T-62 under fire as well. That one most likely will go down, but the T-80BV can deal with the other tanks quite easily. More T-80BV action coming around. They should have flanked further around. Akatsias got into cover. CV in the center. Under fire. No infantry support though coming in just yet. Motschützen now trying to move in, but this engagement was bad. EDBV on the long range, just outclassing the other tanks there big time. Conquerors still flying around in the north. CV tank still around, but not having the space to move in here. FAntyx playing this turtle playstyle pretty nicely at the moment. Shilka coming around. More Conquerors coming up as well. Conquerors moving up. Osa trying to get a connection onto the Mi-24D. Not quite finding the hit. Conquerors coming in here for a TADBV. Not finding the connection. T-55s moving forward. Motschützen moving through the forest towards the T-62. ATGM still coming in for a TADBV. But the TADBV can tank quite a lot of Conquerors frontally. So yeah, Conquerors is helpful here. This Conquerors in general doing a great job. Akatsias should wipe it out. Okay, they will try to do so now. And the push of Matrin in the south a bit slowed down. As the Mi-24D AT trying to come around against the T-ADBV over here. Helicopters maybe could fly a bit further forward. Be a bit more aggressive here for Matrin. But Stika on the other side out of ammo. And north still stuck as well. So Matrin really struggling to find the points. 16 minutes remaining. Motschützen moving around here, but the CV4 FAntyx has moved around. Motschützen finding the Motostrelki. Well out of ammo. Motschützen here getting overwhelmed by a superior RPO. Mi-24D AT moving up as well. Getting killed off. Till we find the Conquerors. Ooh, nice connection. Motschützen versus T-62s. RPG can do the job for sure. Yeah. But the Motostrelki and the BTR still around. And the Motschützen most likely will lose that fight. Motschützen over here under heavy fire as well. Matrin not quite getting the combined arms together. That is needed to do the job here. Gets the supply truck in for the Gwardstika. Well, it's the T-55 in the center. Try to get the T-62. Conquers. Sitting around here as well. T-55s can't win a fight against T-80BBs. Will get killed off there. Only having 10 frontal armor. Only 14 penetration. Seed plane coming around. Will try to fight the Osa. Does struggle. Su-22 though. Gets the kill. Su-27 gets the counter kill. And the Coops will struggle to get the kill onto the Su-27. Yeah, no, actually do the job together with the Strela in the south and the Shilka. They actually are able to do so. Okay, Su-27 bites the dust. Good kill there for Matrin. Worthwhile kill for Matrin, but only 14 minutes remaining. And the turtle playstyle of FAntyx of 335 points seems to work out. Matrin not finding a way of getting any more ticks in at the moment. And the northern defensive line of FAntyx quite strong. The couple of the attacks here in the center especially have been really painful for Matrin, and he's trying to recover from that all since. Southern attack though not working quite out. Northern attacks since then also not quite working out. So never quite getting the advantage back that he had for a while at the beginning of the game. Northern push at the beginning worked out quite nicely, but never able to get it into too many points. And the early CVs of FAntyx here most likely might be enough here to win the game. Would bring us to the decider game. As a Coop is in the center. CV moving up, Osa moving up. Matrin really in a tough spot here now. It's just that moment where the combined arms of 39th is just better than the combined arms of 7th. And 7th needs that critical mass that most of the East German divisions need. Like T-55s and T-72s are great in numbers, and you can get good numbers of them. But those numbers are not quite on the battlefield right now. Like you need like 5, 6 or even more tanks at once rolling forward. Then maybe use them with smoke or so to get the ranges you need. Have a couple of infantry units supporting them, but the trade's just a bit better for FAntyx throughout the game, allowing FAntyx to just turtle here. FAntyx could have finished this game earlier, as I said, if he would have taken the opportunity in the center. Matrin shouldn't have survived there. Did survive this long though, as FAntyx didn't use the opportunity. So game is going really long. Matrin did at least stabilize, but chances of a counterattack are just really slim. It seems like games between these two people are just forced to be going long. E62 in the north, hitting the Aufklärer. Aufklärer being pushed back. Artillery coming in here. E62M under fire. Will go down here, most likely. Motostrelki under fire as well. E62 not getting hit another time, it seems. Quite lucky there. Oh, there. No. Okay. Caster curse. Shouldn't have called it lucky. Classic. Hit the next shell. Obviously had to kill it. ADBV down to 1 hit point. Osa goes down. But no helicopter to use that momentum. Yeah. Matrin just never quite finding the combined arms needed to break through FAntyx line at some point. Me-24V80 rotating down to the south. ADBV sitting around here. EMP2 coming up. 62M moving up as well. Me-24D getting reloaded. 3 T-72s here. Good ones. T-72Ms. M1s, 2 of them. But TADBV still outclassed them. Conquerors still does its best here. Trying to deal with the enemy tanks. What's this time under fire? Like this, Conquerors might be the MVP of Matrin in kills and in positioning. Artillery didn't find connection there. Artillery now trying to shoot on some other targets. Center here still really lightly defended by Matrin. Push off onto it, could still overwhelm it non-stop. But FAntyx also not quite having the recon up here to spot that. And just doesn't seem to be counting on how many kills he does. Like, top level players usually at least try to keep up with how many kills they get if they are in an advantage or in disadvantage position. With some quick math in the head. FAntyx doesn't quite seem to do that, otherwise he would realize on what size of an advantage he would be at this stage. Like, Matrin still trying to give back, and it's always a bit scary leaving the enemy the initiative, and that's what FAntyx does here. Matrin just not quite up to using it, but a couple of these pushes were scary. With a bit better execution, they could have still done it. So, yeah, FAntyx's playstyle looks fine right now, because Matrin is not quite able to use it, but you should really not play like this if you have the position like this. Like the early game, really good play by FAntyx, holding the line nicely. The micro here, really strong as well, but not using your advantages, not pushing your advantages is a big mistake in any Eugen, in any RTS whatsoever. If you are ahead, get further ahead. If you have a combined arms, your enemy doesn't have a combined arms, abuse the positions where he doesn't have a good combined arms. Okay, gets another couple of kills here with the T-62s in the south. But he can just A-move now. Like, there's just nothing left on the other side. He just refuses to do a counterattack. He just refuses to go over the 50-50 line, though. Mutschützen going down here. I mean, look at the amount of blue units. And blue units in general are more expensive than the red units. Red has fewer units of lower quality. Like, by now, around half the units. The tank numbers even worse. Like, there might be more T80 PVs on the battlefield than enemy tanks in general at this stage. And I don't think I'm Okay, with the T-72s coming in the north, that's not the case, but in the center for sure, only 3 tanks here remaining versus 40 ADBVs, good amount of BMP3s and a good amount of T-62s as well. Might even be 5 TADBVs? Yeah. So, this should be a super easy push. Okay, finally, FAntyx does pull the trigger here. That should be the end of it. Motostralky is getting overrun, T-62s, getting nice kills, Aufklärers under fire. T-72 here. Getting overwhelmed as well, BMP3s, T-62s. Coming in, TADBVs coming in for it. Down to 3 hit points. Still trying to fight back. MiG-21 bomber trying to come in here. It's the BMP3 nicely, but T-72 goes down. BMP3 doesn't go down to the bombs. With its good armor, it takes more than that to kill it. S-2 in the north gets a TADBV bombed, as Matrin is going for one last counterattack here in the north. And if he can keep a CV in the center and can contest the north, that could still work out with 7 minutes remaining. I mean, this is Matrin's only hope. FAntyx does the right move of moving some units north and finally continues pushing in the center. So FAntyx still should win this, but like Matrin should have no right of being able to still pull an offensive like that. He's still able to do so. Most likely won't work out here, as there's enough blue units still around. The trades for Matrin once more not quite as good as they need to be, but FAntyx really taking a hell of a long time here to get the advantage. T-72 movement here of Matrin is good, but just doesn't get the CV in the center. Shilka gets a nice kill. TADBV is around now though. T-62 here most likely will go down. T-72 getting the shot, yeah, but should smoke off, should disengage. And the CV needs to go in over here, but there's an Otleni Podorichki coming in for it, and that most likely will get the kill, and then we might see a surrender here of Matrin. As after that we only have 6 minutes remaining for getting another CV in here, and that most likely now won't happen anymore. More T-62, more BMP2s coming in, but Matrin invested everything into this, and FAntyx finally moving in the center, finally using his advantage here. Took way longer than expected, got this, but yeah, Matrin now in absolutely terrible position here, all around the center. TADBVs engaging in the north, Shilka and BMP1s out in the open against the TADBV. Not a great spot to be in. All the T-72s are down. Only the one CV1 in the center is remaining. And Matrin could tap out at this stage, though that's another thing in the series. People refusing to tap out. As FAntyx is in trouble. Matrin is in trouble. FAntyx has this one finally completely under control. 72 here should die in a second. Took like most likely 20 minutes longer than it needed to be. As the TADBVs here moving forward, finally finishing everything off. But FAntyx will win game number 2. BTR moving up to the north, and we will go down to a decider match in the semifinal. And yeah, I'm a bit overly critical here, I guess, in this game. But I just wanted to show you that these guys, even though they play really good games, still make mistakes. And yeah, show you how to do it better here. FAntyx still did a good game when it comes to trades. As I said, he is a great player, but he still has a couple of things he can improve on. T-72s, yeah, some of them did well, but most of them did overextend a bit. And FAntyx, TADBVs did great on defense, but yeah, he just lived off his point advantage at the beginning, and then he didn't do a single offensive moves for 35 minutes straight, which is just not how WARNO is supposed to be played. You need to do some countered offensives. And he had a major advantage in the center to push that for 20 minutes straight. He finally did it in the end, as Matrin got desperate with his counterattacks there, overextended a bit because he needed the points, but FAntyx wins in the end here, because Matrin's counterattacks just that slightly off-footed every time. Brings us to game number 5. Hopefully FAntyx a bit more aggressive there. Otherwise, if Matrin just does it a slightly bit better, I feel like Matrin still can easily win that game number 5. Close series here. Let's see who will face Vulcan in the finals. So, the decider game, FAntyx versus Matrin. Bands this time, the 2 Soviet guard divisions, 39th and 79th guards are out. As 39th for sure has delivered. 79th, pretty scary as well with the SU-25s and so on. And we're back to a matchup that we haven't seen, but both sides playing divisions that they have won with before. FAntyx back on his scary 5th clean day, his best division, so makes sense to bring it on 2 ways. Decent map for the division as well. But Matrin is back to the 4th Motorisierte Schützendivision. East Germans seem to be Matrin's favorite. KDA 4th, 7th, played a lot by him. Only once broken by the 39th in game number 2. So let's see if Matrin can do it with them against the 5th clean day this time around. KDA wasn't able to stop them on chemicals. BMX10s and co. Really scary. And before we go on, once more, it's fast shout out to the Matrin, where you can support the tournament directly via sponsor quests on the side here with money, where you don't have to pay anything yourself and you add money to the prize pool directly by, for example, just easily visiting a couple of websites here of Lucid Sound, easily adding 40 cents to the prize pool that get paid out to the players in this tournament in the end. We are already above $700, so big thanks to that. Really a good amount of prize pool for sure. For sure has made it more hype to play for the players as well, giving them back something for their great games that they play here. Division 2 also has a small prize pool at the moment. If you go above 800, it will get increased a bit to 50 instead of 20 for the winner, and then the second place will also get 20 bucks. And yep, let's see. Yep, can find the link down below or in the side right now. And yeah, thanks for all the support here, guys. Once more, thanks for all the support throughout the whole season. In general, to all of the viewers and all of the players. Was one of the smoothest tournament I've ever organized, especially for a long-running one like this. No dropouts. Yeah, organization was smooth as well. All games were organized within a week. So big thanks to all the players especially. And yeah, big thanks to all the viewers, all the supporters for the Matrin and in the chat in general. All of you giving the hype to the tournament. Made it a much more bigger and fun event than I expected it to be for the first WARNO event. But yeah, a lot of fun here. Hope you have the same fun as well. If you are new to the channel, maybe consider following so you don't miss out on future content. This Friday, for example, we have the Friday night WARNO, where we'll be joined by one of the Eugen developers as we play a 2v2 tournament. Yeah, against some teams from the community. And if we get kicked out, we will continue casting it. And at the meantime, we will talk about WARNO's development process. Yeah, what's up, when we will maybe getting a couple of small insights, couple of small hints about what's to come for WARNO in the future. Doing a bit of a Q&A with the community as well. So yeah, let's freaking go, everyone. And let's see, FAntyx coming in here with the AMX NRCs, the good French recon tanks with the big gun. Low armor, but still good enough armor to survive a good amount of anti-tank weaponry. 3 frontal armor really is a big difference compared to 1 or 2 armor. And 16 damage on the gun is just really scary. One shots a lot of things out there, as Matrin is going for a bit of a push into Delta down here. MiG-29 coming around as well. Meanwhile, AMX-10 RCs in the north, trying to get a kill onto some SPGs. SPGs at least both unload, but not in range to retaliate. So the one in the north especially is in danger of going down here. SPG-9 in the south, nearly getting in range of the AMX-10, but not quite. Conqueror's ATGMs coming around, one Motostrelki. Center, relatively light for Matrin, but Vulture Mega Medi still pretty helpful, as the big damage seems to come in for the south. MiG-29 versus Mirage, 200. MiG-29 has the better missiles. Gun on both sides, pretty scary. MiG-29 goes down to the MX-13 though, and the Mirage got a nice hit there with one of the missiles in as well. So MiG-29 gets busted. Mirage will escape. Quite lucky there for FAntyx that the MiG-29 didn't get any good connections. And 2 Fallschirmjägers in here, not the scariest of units, but FAntyx relatively light here down on south. MX-10 RC also got hit by the SPG-9, has to disengage. Mi-24D, pretty scary here as well. MX-13 coming around to try to deal with it with its 30mm AA pieces. Medis getting killed on some of the trucks, not really the connections they want though. MX-30B2 once more in the center. We saw in game number 1 how scary they can be against infantry with their autocannons, but they are pretty susceptible to ATGMs. Only 11 frontal armor, so they take a lot of damage from everything with 15 penetration plus. Fallschirmjägers moving forward here. Conquerors and Co. Conquerors and Medis pretty scary. Medis stealing 4 damage per hit there on them. That's Motostrelki moving forward over here. MX-13RC coming down to the south. +2 now for Matrin, who gets the first CV out. CV on the side of FAntyx coming in though as well to equalize the whole situation. Matrin with really light force holding the center at the moment. FAntyx not pushing in there. Being a bit defensive here. And Medis sitting around in the north. What should now clever. Moving forward. Fallschirmjäger Medis sitting around. And Milan 2 sitting around up here. AMX-13 DCA moving around. Grenadier Voltigeur Apilas sitting in the north. Matrin coming around. Mi-24 DAA moving towards the south. AMX-13 RC chilling here in the bushes. As Grenadier Voltigeur Apilas try to move forward. PG9 in the north. Yeah, this is scary for FAntyx. That Matrin is able to get this part of the map under lockdown is really, really scary for FAntyx. Has to keep this in, has to keep an eye on this, has to get this pushed out eventually. But 5th Blinde, really not the best of town fight divisions. Like, that's one of the biggest disadvantages. Forest fights are okay. Town fights, they kind of struggle a bit with. The 20mm autocannon cars not as easily to... Okay, can't find a good position there. The VAB 20s. Again, in other places. CQC infantry on 4th side, decent. Not amazing either, but pretty decent. Well, it's the center here, really. The Fallschirmjäger Medis, 2 of them locking down the whole center. So hard for FAntyx. Shouldn't have been the case. But they're doing a great job here for Matrin. Fallschirmjäger Medis now moving forward, trying to get an ATGM into the BMP-3, MX-30. Why did I say BMP-3? Lol. The MX-30. Not finding connection there though. Coop trying to hit the Mirage. Wow. Mirage is lucky so far, but okay. Last 2 do connect. Coop get the job done. Took them a while, but they get the kills. Mirage 200 there goes down. Yes, TRM 2000 comes in with some supers. On the other side, Motostrelki, Mutchison, BTRs coming in numbers. Mutchison, decent with their RPG 7VR, their 2 LMGs. A bit small in numbers, only 8 hit points on the BTR version. And they don't have any CQC weapons, so the Super Flam should be able to push them out still. But they can one-shot the VAB pretty easily. And they have good veterancy as well, which is really helpful. Like, the free veterancy on the Mutchison, the biggest advantage of these units. Getting them better accuracy and so on, and making them better than the stats look like. RPG 7VL, 18 damage, can one-shot the VAB, so that's really helpful. There's a Pug. Rapira comes into the center. Infantry in the south, though, gets slowly pushed out. Sapeurs get their TNT on target there against the Fallschirmjägers. Bit of a miss micro there by Matrin, not being able to disengage there in time. Grenadier Voltigeur Apilas, though, now fighting against Pioneer Flamethrowers. Not the engagement they want. Flamethrowers should be pretty strong there. The north The TNT units now moving in though again, and they should be able to get on top of this Pioneer flamethrowers. Should be able to hit it. Ah, slightly out of range still. Seems like they're still slightly out of range. Not quite getting the TNT on the Pioneers. Getting hit by the flamethrower here. Actually will get killed off. Should pop directly on top of it. Conqueror's not able to kill off the AMX-10 RC down here. Good smoke micro once more by FAntyx. We saw that in game number 1. He's once more pretty impressive with it. Gets the Conquerors. T-55's coming in here. AMX-10's getting control over this. Conquerors trying to connect with the AMX this time around in the south. SPG not quite in range of the AMXs. AMX in the south gets missed by the Conquerors. Conquerors would one-shot the AMX, but needs to find the connection there. And doesn't find it just yet. AMX tries to disengage. Gets out of range. Conquerors loses line of sight there. AMX-10 RC does survive another time. Conquerors and SPG heavily hit. Pioneer flamethrowers got rid of the Saperis though. Missed micro there by FAntyx. And the flamethrower unit still moves on. Grandia Voltage Apilas trying to deal with it. Flamethrowers still shooting around here. Sapers once more under fire, but only one Pioneer flamethrower remaining. It's not getting the hits on target at the moment, as it got heavily stressed out. Okay, finally getting a nice hit in here, but will get overwhelmed now. FAntyx on a +2. Center still in the hand of Matrin, though he still does not really have a right to have that. But FAntyx is not taking it from him. Not quite aggressive enough here either. It's a per flamethrower. Could easily move in here. MiG-21's not getting the connection that Matrin hoped for, but at least will survive. Will get the hell out of here. Coops on the other side. And Strelas. Pretty helpful. Mi-24 DAA can deal with the AMX if it moves forward. AA piece has gone down here. So the AMX-10 RC has to be careful. The rockets, the 80mm rockets do good damage against it. T-55 AM2 in the south has to be careful. AMX-10 RC though does disengage. Doesn't take the fight there. The Mi-2 helicopter did spot it. Much its now clever. Coming in to get into a nice spot. Mi-24 PAT really helpful against the AMX-10s as well. No AA around against the Mi-24s. The helicopter is really the best play against the AMX-10s. Yes, they don't have any AA on them, and they are pretty soft targets. So even rockets or just the guns of these can kill them. Rapira needs to get out. Grandia Voltage is doing a good amount of damage. AMX-10, AMX-30 does engage onto the Rapira here, gets the kill. T-55 AM2 trying to retaliate, but not getting any targets, shots on target just yet. Finally gets one, but gets penetrated by the AMX-30 and goes down. Mi-24 PAT trying to come around, still no AA here. Helicopter is bullying the Grandia Voltage. No AMX-30, no AMX-13 DCA. Only one in the north, none in the center, none in the south. And no Roland 3s. No man pets either. Mirage 200s on the other side, flying into Coop fire again. Will get out alive, but won't get a connection on any of the Mi-24s either. Schützen moving forward. Matrin now on a +1 with the center zone under control. Will go up to the +3 once Alpha is under control as well. And FAntyx has a 500-point advantage, but with a +3 that will melt quite quickly. Rapira gets killed off by the AMX-10s. AMX-10 micro here off FAntyx. Really, really strong. Yeah, that's FAntyx's strong suit. The vehicle micro of his is just a level above Matrin's here in the whole series. And AMX-10s allow for great vehicle micro, so having that unit is a big, big advantage. A big nuisance for Matrin. These two AMX-10 RCs here did get so cost efficient already. Has to find a solution for it. If FAntyx loses all the AMX-10s, his play will drop off big time, but at the moment he's doing really, really nicely. Schützen moving forward. Super flamethrowers coming around. Super Flam sitting around over here. Mi-24 PAT will deal with the AMX-10 RC. Yeah, they also will mention the Friday Night WARNO event in the next dev blog this week. So yeah, Eugen does recognize the league. Sadly, yeah. We didn't get a shout out for the finals, but that was more my fault, coming in a bit late with the contact there, and contacting the wrong person at the same time as well, because yeah, that person was out of office at that day, so sadly didn't get quite a shout out for the WARNO League finals, but we will get shout outs for the future seasons for sure. Like, obviously, it's good advertisement for Eugen, and it's pretty free advertisement as well for them, putting it into the dev blogs and so on. So, yeah, they are as much interested as supporting it, especially at least with like free stuff like that. Yeah, with prize pools and so on, obviously it's a bit harder for them. But Eugen helped us out, for example, with the charity event. They put in money into that and so on, and they, yeah, with the Friday Night WARNO, I will be joined by Eugen Dev and so on. So yeah, there is cooperation. Could be maybe a bit more out of my perspective, but it's already on a good level. And obviously, always can be more, right? Me too, moving down to the south. B55, AM2 is moving back. Getting nice hits in here. Yeah. I mean, for such a small dev team, they're doing an insane amount of work. And an insane amount of content. EAB20 going down in the north. Obviously, they want to be faster. Community wants them to be faster, but yeah, it's just they are limited in the amount of people. They are limited by being French and having holidays. Oh my god, how dare they? Having actually a good life, or a somewhat fine work-life balance. Still wouldn't quite call it good, but best you can hope for in the gaming industry, I guess. 24D AT coming around. Ultramager, Medis sitting around here. BTR 50 moving forward. Perflam under fire. And Matrin holds the +3 in the middle. B24D pushes through the center. Motschitz now clear, holding the line. AMXs getting some nice hints. Roland. Ooh, finally some AT, but it goes down here. So the helicopter is still uncontested here. And the Mirage 2000 tries to come around, doesn't get the kill though, gets killed off by the Coops. Coops doing a good job there. MiG-21 gets out alive as well. The AA of FAntyx really lacking here. Another Roland 2 being brought in. Some Mistrals finally. Great manpads, best manpad in the game. But they don't help you if they are not on the battlefield. Like, they have great accuracy, they have 5 damage, they have good range. Really an amazing manpad, the Mistral. Highly underutilized by a lot of players, in my eyes, because yes, they're a bit expensive, but manpads are just so great. They can't get hit by seed. You can hide them in buildings. You can sneak them towards the front line. So, yeah, moving forward. That's the plan, yeah. Season 1 is planned to come in with the 1.0 patch. If 1.0 takes too long to come around, we might make a something similar to League. I will have to figure it out. Yeah, how that will look. We will for sure have a couple of tournaments till then, but yeah. League Season 1 is planned for launch. With this being the test run. Though, quite a bit more successful test run than I hoped for. But yeah, we will go up to 3 divisions with Season 1 of 48 players. And yeah, 16 players each. With Division 3 then being for newer players, having a bit more differentiation between the skill levels. As Division 1 was a close fight, was great. Like, I think the skill level there was pretty nice. Kama being a bit higher than everyone else, but not to a level that he was unbeatable. I mean, he still won in all best of 5s, but he lost maps. And you can't obviously do anything about that. Like, there will always be the top dogs that will be slightly above the rest of the competition. That's in every sport, like Messi, Ronaldo, or Einer Bjorn in back in the day in biathlon and so on. But yeah, or Magnus Carlsen in chess. But in general, I think the level of everyone being able to beat everyone. I mean, FAntyx did show it, coming in as lowest seed, going into the finals. Was really good in Division 1. In Division 2, it was a bit more mixed, because we had a lot of newer players there as well, with a couple of bigger veterans. So yeah, it was not quite as perfect. Still good enough. I think it was still fine, but I think 3 divisions is a better level. And then for season 2 or season 3, we will go up to 64 players and 4 divisions of 16. And I think we will stay at that number then for as long as we run this tournament. Like, that's my idea at the moment. Obviously, all subject to change. If I come up with a better idea, or someone else comes up with a better format that is more exciting, or we need a shift at some point for a more exciting format or something, we will be up to do that, but at the moment that's the idea. Going up to 48, going up to 64 with 4 divisions. And then going up to that. I think 4 divisions is the right amount from my experience with Steel Division as well, because that still allows for good enough differentiation on skill level, and still is fluent enough that you can climb up in a somewhat reasonable speed. Like, it takes you, if you start in Division 4, and you win every season, or get into the top 4 every season, you still make it up to Division 1 within a year. With more divisions and so on, that would be more troublesome. And I try to get more legacy going in the WARNO League than in the Steel Division League. Like, people really staying in the division they had been the season before. Trying to focus on that a bit more than with what we had in Steel Division. Let's see how that all goes. Conquer's coming around to hit the P4 over here. But yeah, having the storylines between seasons a bit higher. As we have the storylines in seasons already pretty hot, both in Steel Division and in WARNO. But I think the storyline between seasons can be improved. Just like in a football league, where it's always like that. Like with Werder Bremen going down last season, struggling real hard to coming back up in the second Bundesliga, now being pretty strong in the first Bundesliga. Oh, like surprisingly strong again. Stuff like that. Storylines like that. Just for single players. As meanwhile, Matrin does hold the lineup here, but FAntyx, with a nice sneak in the north, gets the CV sniped over here. +1 now for Matrin, but needs to clean this AMX-10. AMX-10 still doing well, but the center is under complete lock now. Mistral's coming around. Helicopters push back, but Mistral's coming in a bit late. Currently not supporting that much. 20 minutes still remaining though. So still time here for FAntyx to turn this around, as the south at least defended. And brings them AMX-30s, which outclass the enemy tanks. Just have to be careful of Matrin's Ultra Mega Medis and his Conquerors. Like, those are the biggest assets in my eyes for Matrin right now. Matrin having a couple of artillery pieces as well. Bringing in a CV in the north. AMX-10 finally gets found by the Mi-24s. Does try to smoke off, but will get killed off here in a minute. And Matrin most likely will get up to a +3 again. Schilke is moving around here. Modschütz, BTRs, sitting around. T-55 AM2, chilling around here. +1 for Matrin at the moment. Pioneer flamethrowers moving up into the center. Let's see. EMP1 moving up. And yeah, this is rough. Modschützen coming around. Me too. Down to 1 hit point. Pioneer flamethrower coming up as well. And this is looking like Matrin has a massive advantage now. Like, FAntyx has 19 minutes to figure something out. Well, most likely less when the +3 comes up again. But he still has time to figure something out. And he has forces to make something work again. But it really needs good execution. It really needs good execution. A couple of great artillery hits on some of the Conquerors, for example. Then the tanks have some room to maneuvers, but the ATGMs need to be taken out. ATGM is really the big, scary thing. And then FAntyx needs to move around the AMXs correctly. Not so easy in the south. I wonder why he didn't push harder up here in the north. And then maybe keep, like, opening up the road over here, endangering the reinforcements road back here and so on. Like, there's more tank terrain on this map than people make it look when they only focus on the zones. And like, only playing for zones is something that people get pulled in quite a lot in WARNO. But actually fighting for this stuff between zones, cutting off reinforcement roads, is just as powerful. Cutting off the enemy from free supply in the road. So pushing with AMX 30s in this area or in this area can be really, really strong. And you have a massive tank advantage as FAntyx. Just questionable if it still is enough time to make that work right now. I think by now time is so limited that he needs to push for a zone again. And that won't be easy here. The game is becoming really nice by now. Family friendly blood. I enjoy it a hell of a lot. Both as a spectator and a player finally as well. Took them like 8 months for me to really come around to it. Like in September I really started to enjoy it. But by now WARNO is on par with Steel Division for me in 1v1 mostly. Still has less variety. So in general, Steel Division in the long just has a bit more longevity at the moment. But with 18 divisions, it should have a solid amount of variety at launch. And yeah, the balance is in a decent spot as well. Not perfect, obviously, far from it. But in a good enough spot that most divisional matchups are pretty close. And it's more down to player skills than just better divisions. A couple of units in the divisions are still broken, but it's not the divisions themselves that are completely busted anymore, which is good. And yeah, those divisions are looked upon by Eugen as well. A couple of them will be fixed next patch. I can tell you that much. Or at least will be nerfed. Not sure if 400% all of them will be fixed, but they will be weaker for sure. So yeah, should be getting better and better from here on out. Still no campaign. We were still waiting for that, but they are working hard on it. A lot of dev diaries about that. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think the campaigns have a lot of potential of being amazing if Eugen nails them down. And I mean, I will for sure test them a lot in multiplayer once they are around. +3 here for Matrin. As Matrin is getting the overwhelming advantage in the center. The counter push here off FAntyx not working out. Just so many units here. Airplanes of FAntyx somehow surviving. Down to 1 hit point. Gets the helicopter. Troops missing all their shots. Really unfortunate there for Matrin this time around. But doesn't really matter. +3 still going on. Still going really strong here. And it seems like Matrin will be the one to face Vulcan in the Grand Finals. Grenadier Voltigeurs on the fire. Pioneer Flamethrowers engaging. Mod-Schützen coming around as well. Flamethrower down to 2 hit points. MLRS for sure are on the list of things. Yeah. That are being looked upon by Eugen. They are for sure getting a rework before launch. Just the question is when exactly that rework will come around. But they won't be launching the game with the MLRS in the current state. BMP-1 hitting the Grenadier Voltigeurs. Rocket launcher trying to get some hits around here. Pioneer Flamethrowers coming around, getting some nice kills. T-55 AM2 shooting around in the north. Last push here for FAntyx. Still has a couple of units here. Moving through the forest was a weird idea. I don't know why he didn't try to push through this corridor from the get-go or try to push down here. Like, really not using the advantages of his division as much as he did in game number 1. Where he was on a worse map, I think, for 5th Land A, but he made it work on chemicals. But this time just not playing to its advantages enough. Like, still a great micro of the AMX 10s, but the rest just not working out this time. And that keeps Matrin on a +3, more than 1000 points ahead. FAntyx really running out of time. As 8 DGMs, the Conqueror is getting some nice hits. Artillery of FAntyx never finding that. MX 30s connecting with some E55s in the south. Should be able to win that fight. Ooh, still not getting a hit in yet. Quite unfortunate. Finally. Dealing 4 damage there. Should be able to finish off the job relatively soon. Down to 1 hit point. Ooh, nice smoke there from Martin. AMX 30 forced to push further in. Not quite finding any connection yet though. AMX 30 is moving over here. And yeah, I think if you move through the center, if infantry comes out, you can still use your autocannons and so on. And yeah, this, as you can see, like, they cleaned up a lot of units here already. Still need infantry on the side, but only to spot these kind of units coming up. And then yeah, you can shoot them. Brannis can use it 20mm autocannons. Can deal good amount of damage to Mordschützen. Push here, slowly coming in. Artillery finally coming in for the center as well. Hitting the wrong building here, not hitting the Conquerors, but Conquerors out of ammo. Mi-24D though goes down. Mirage 200 bites the dust as well. So not cost efficient there, but at least getting rid of that annoying thing. Su-22HE getting killed off. Not getting its bombs off, I think. Artillery here hitting nicely around FAntyx's units though. And Matrin really close to finishing off the job here now. 12 minutes remaining. Might find this... FAntyx might find the CV here last second. RPG kills first unit though. Brannis on the receiving end now as well. 13 penetration only though. So not dealing a lot of damage. And out of RPG now. Mordschützen under fire. Will go down. Center gets cleaned out here. 11 minutes. Ooh, is Matrin actually going to get pushed out here? Yeah, this move, this is how he should have used the AMXs from the get-go. Not sure why he used the tanks in this forest here. Like, yes, tanks can deal damage in the forest. They can move through the forest. It's not Steel Division. They are scarier there, and they 1v1 can win against an infantry, but they're way more expensive than an infantry, so they are not cost efficient there. They can do a bit of damage there, but they are not cost efficient in the forest. But meanwhile, in the center, they are fast. They can do a lot of damage. Mi-24D here coming in. Mistral's not around. Roland 2 not around, so the AMX 30 here most likely will go down again. No CV on the way just yet for FAntyx in the center, and only 10 minutes remaining for 1,300 point difference. So he needs a take right now, right here. Counter push in the south coming in. Matrin still has a good amount of units here. BTR maybe shouldn't move through here. Maybe should come in here. AMX 30B2 smoking off as the Mi-24D is sitting around. Falagang. Falanga, ATGM, not the greatest. Coops coming around for the Mirage 200 again. Just not getting the connections though. Oh, one hit. Might be enough. Is there any AA in the north? There's nothing in the north. Oh my god. Okay. Not a single Shilka or Igla there. Another Mi-24 coming in. Mistrals in good places. Coops both getting sniped. But this AMX 30 gets sniped as well. No CV still on the way for the center. Finally, one coming in here. But that will only arrive in like a minute or a minute and a half. And that might already be not enough time here. FAntyx, once more, looks like he would win in a 50-minute game. It's the classic. It's the classic late FAntyx push. And AMX is here, under fire by the T-55. BTR trying to move around, but yeah, that should not move this way. That CV is not going to get in there. Getting killed off there. FAntyx moving into the north here. BTR needs to get the hell out of there. Needs the support. FAntyx might actually do it here in the end. Oh boy. Oh boy. I didn't expect this game to get this close. It looked like Matrin had it in lockdown, and it looked like FAntyx was doing the wrong moves. He finally found the right move. And that is cracking up the open really nicely. VAB will find the BTR. Me-2 helicopter under fire. Is FAntyx actually doing it? Only 9 minutes remaining. Matrin, quick reaction with the BTR, keeps it alive. Yes, will lose the take for a while, but should be able to get it in eventually again. +2 at the moment for FAntyx. Is annoying and all, but not the end of the world. Bomber does miss though, as the Me-2 goes down. Mirage 200 on the hunt for the MiG-21. Finds the kill. That's a problem. Artillery shooting into the center. Conquerors coming around here, trying to get some kill onto the AMXs. As the +2 is going on for FAntyx. Still a couple of mod shots and pioneers around here. P4 needs to be careful. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. Sprengtaucher and co. It's only a P4. It's only a truck that can be killed by vehicle by infantry fire. Small arms fire can kill the P4. It's being revealed. Oh, going down to 2 hit points. Can the VAB-20 defend it? No, it goes down to the small arms fire. Oh no, the wrong CV for the center. Not bringing in a VAB there. A VAB would not have taken any damage there. And FAntyx not getting the +3 in the middle. Only having the +2 from the rear at the moment. VAB-20 gets an Akatsuya, gets this... doesn't get the CV. The BTR does survive. And Matrin should be able to come in here. Does contested. FAntyx still needs 1,200 points. A +3 at this point wouldn't be enough. He needs more than a +3, and he doesn't even have the +3 because he doesn't have the center. +5 that would have been for a while. That would have gotten him pretty close, but with a +2 at the moment, it's for sure not enough. And even if he gets the center, Matrin for sure will get the rear back here. At least should be able to do so. The Fallschirmjägers and the BMB is coming up there. And then it would be only a +3, which is still not good enough. VAB this time around. Don't know why he didn't go for it for the first time. It costs you 10 points more, but it has the same speed. It's armored. The P4 was a major mistake here. The couple of mod shots in here getting the kill there. But even if not, it could have, like the VAB, way more resistant to artillery fire and so on. For this center zone, you usually want armored or infantry CVs. The 4-point light CVs are something for rear zones. Yes, the 22s here coming around with their guns now. Dealing good amount of damage there. Grenadier, Anti-Char got the kill on the BMP2s, but Mudshotson got the kill of the VAB on the VAB as well. And the group Anti-Char does fall around it. All down. Grenadier Voltigeurs go down as well. CV can come back in here now. And that will stop the tick. 6 minutes remaining here for FAntyx. VAB on the way to the center, but it's once more one of these games for FAntyx. Once more one of these games where he just doesn't have the time left in the end to do the job. Seed plane flying around. Mirage 2000 not getting a hit. 200. Me too on the fire. Oh boy. Roland 2 gets the hit in. Doesn't get the second connection though. MX-13 doesn't get hit by the seed. Mirage out of missiles. Will try to hunt it down with just a gun. Should be able to do so. Yeah, gets the connection. Not quite sure what a coup is still down here. Okay, Grenadier Voltage is not connecting. Mudshotson Führer here, maybe a bit far forward. Maybe we should move 1 or 2 buildings back. Mirage 200 gets killed on the way out. Doesn't really matter though. And yeah, the tick is equalized. 1,000 points still to be taken for FAntyx. He will get 500 or so of it. With the CV coming in right now in the center. He will get 620 of it. If he... or around 620 now. With a +3. But still needs more ticks. And he has no time for it. 5 minutes remaining. And Matrin most likely will win this game still. Like, good counterattack by FAntyx, but too late. As always. Like, it's really a standard thing with FAntyx. It's kind of a joke by now. But yeah, that guy just lacks a bit of aggression. AMX-10 RC coming around, T-55, AM-2 under fire. Like, he had the units around here. Mistrals were lacking a bit. Brought them around, but then this move to the force, I don't get it. Like, in game number 1, he used his AMX-30 so well. And yeah, great job here by FAntyx on this counterattack then in the end. Could have done that from the get-go though. I mean, he did it in game number 1 quite a couple of times. Matrin with a great start though. Like, rightfully so on this advantage. And rightfully will win the game here most likely. 4 minutes remaining. And it needs more than a +5 at this moment. Like, it needs a +7 to change this now. Like 280 points per minute. And he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. No, FAntyx is a lazy player, I would say. He's just not putting in the push. He's just sitting there and chilling. Not a bad player. Would just call it lazy. Oh. Not wanting to put in the work to get the win. But Matrin is doing everything to get it. Fighting hard here. Fighting tooth and nail. And gets this. Oh no. Oh, disaster. Oh, the Fallschirmjäger Sprengtaucher get... No, what got the VAB? They got the line of sight, I guess, on the VAB. And then the bomber got the VAB. Disaster here for FAntyx. Even losing the CV in the middle. 3 minutes remaining. No take at all. 800 points difference. This is it. Matrin will get this game. Even has a Mudschützen here now hunting the the P4. Most likely will find it. Mudschützen now clear over here. Maybe even could find the VAB PC. See it coming around. Yeah, another CV being called in for the center, but that won't come around in time. Mudschützen BTR moving around here. Grenadier Voltage is moving up. But it will be Matrin versus Vulcan. And we're gonna cast these games right after. But yeah, it will be Matrin versus Vulcan here most likely. Ooh, P4 even got spotted there. Doesn't quite get killed, but yeah, Matrin is doing everything that's necessary here to get this over the finish line now. 2 minutes remaining. P4. Might have been once more spotted here. Yes. SC-22 coming around this time for the right target. P4 will get killed off. Mudschützen here might find the target, and that might even get Matrin over 2,000 points in the end. AMX 30s pushing deep now. Finally broke through. Yeah, with a 50-minute game, still might be good enough for FAntyx. A couple of too many losses here in the center though. +2 is going on. Mudschützen on the way, trying to find the P4 over here. And FAntyx does surrender. And Matrin, with lower KD, gets the victor here against FAntyx. The FAntyx staple being ahead in KD, still losing the game. Well played by Matrin though. Great early game. Pushing the advantages that his division offers. Whilst FAntyx just not quite able to make his great micro into a victory once more.